When the University of the Free State signed the Berlin Declaration on Open Access to Knowledge in the Sciences and Humanities in 2011, it committed ourselves to the wide and free dissemination of its scholarship by means of open access platforms. At an Open Science Colloquium held by the Library and Information Services in 2019, our Rector and Vice-Chancellor, Professor Francis Peterson, and Professor Ahmed Bawa from USAF both framed the lack of knowledge or the lack of access to knowledge due to the high costs as a human rights injustice, accepting that we need to challenge the status quo in scholarly communication as a nation. South Africa's journey towards open access to scholarly journals can be seen in the context of the open science policy framework of the Department of Science and Technology. At a global level, there are also large national and international projects and movements aimed at producing an open access basis to scientific information through direct engagement with the publishing industry. South Africa's science system, although small in comparison, is large enough to make an impact when working in alliance with other national systems. In June 2019, the South African National Library Information Consortium, also known as SANLIC, co-hosted a workshop for DVCs, research managers, library directors, and academics to develop an open access roadmap for South Africa. At this workshop, the conclusion was that open access in our context is first and foremost about universal access. The history of South Africa's higher education sector has resulted in the legacy of deeply unequal access to scholarly journals and information databases. The impact of this on the development of scholarly activities of South Africa's knowledge system is immense, and there is national consensus that this has to be corrected. The cost of procuring reading access to journals and information databases is deeply prohibitive for most South African universities and its scholars and students. This is why there is a strong consensus amongst university leaders that the procurement of research information and data should move towards a platform that gives equal access to all South African scholars and students. Of course, there is also the cost of scholarly communication. The combination of the rate at which the cost of journals is increasing and the weakening of the rand is rapidly crippling the capacity of South Africa's research system to guarantee even the current limited access to scientific information as we head into the future. Again, there is no question that there needs to be a change of the model to secure this access. At the end of the workshop, the steps for a South African roadmap included a national declaration on open access. Furthermore, discussions were based on the understanding that South Africa understands the role of information and knowledge as central to its developmental agenda. As such, it has adopted an open science philosophy as a framework for its national system of innovation. An essential element of such an open science framework is open access to information and knowledge. The existing business model of the journal publishing houses makes access to publication and research data increasingly unaffordable and undermines the principles of human rights and social justice. At the University of the Free State, one of our first steps towards supporting open access was to establish our institutional repository. With over 9,000 items and growing rapidly, it hosts our research outputs as well as other valuable research content, such as research outputs by the National Museum in Bloemfontein and the COFSI's A2 rated NRF researcher in the humanities, Professor Willem Boshoff's artwork and photographic archive. The UFS is also publisher to 9 open academic journals. 8 of those are accredited. The Journal for Translation Studies in Africa is the newest title available on our Open Journal System platform, with its first issue published in May 2020. COFSI journals support the strengthening and the development of open access. All our journals share their content with a Creative Commons license, and authors retain copyright. Our Open Access Week program will feature these journals and their support for the open movement. We are proud to announce the launch of our data repository hosted on the Figshare platform. Access to research data is becoming increasingly important to funders, publishers, and research institutions. Figshare at the University of the Free State allows researchers to store, manage, and potentially share their research data in a secure, POPIA and GDPR compliant space. We are also launching our repository for open educational resources, a collaboration between the Library and Information Services and the Center for Teaching and Learning. This repository solidifies our commitment to open access and scholarship. And in support of our emerging researchers, the Library and Information Services and the Directorate for Research Development are making it easy for postgraduate students to create and maintain an ORC ID right at the start of their careers. There is already much support for researchers on managing online, digital, and open identities at the library, as well as navigating the world of open scholarship, avoiding questionable journals, and understanding best practices in the open environment. We hope that you are inspired by all these new developments in open access at the university. And we hope that you are inspired by our program of this week. Today, you can look forward to hearing from Mr. Charlie Molepu, Acting Director of the Library and Information Services, on openness and the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Stay with us for the rest of the week to hear from your colleagues and UFS authors on their experiences and recommendations for publishing in open access journals and having your questions answered on everything open access. Enjoy the week.